Are we live? Are we live? Is that what's happening right now? Are we live? Wow. Okay, let's double check this. Let's double check on our YouTube to see if we're actually live. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it looks like we're actually live. It's been a while, my friends. It's been a while. Let's just open up a screen right here. Let's open up a white screen because, ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? It's been a while. Let me put my microphone on. It's been a while. It's been probably about a month since I last streamed. I mean, I actually kind of went and did a stream earlier today, but it was more of just a test run. And when I did the stream, I was talking about the lessons that I've learned because what happened was in the last couple of days, I went on a trip. I went to Alberta. So I went to Calgary, Red Deer, and Edmonton, and then back to Red Deer again, and then back to Calgary. And so in that time, I was with my client slash business mentor. And what the fuck, bro? Where have you been, gang? Edgar, brother. I've been traveling somewhat. Yeah, I've been traveling. My parents came from the Philippines, so I've just been hanging out with them as well. But there's just been a lot of stuff that's been happening on the back end. So I'm doing a quick stream tonight. It's not going to be a super duper long stream, but there's something that I want to talk to you guys about. And that's the title of this YouTube or this live, which is the older you get, the more distracted you become. And the reason why I'm able to say this right now is because of the lessons that I've extracted with my trip. And I think that trip was really important for me. There was a lot of realization that I was able to realize and just reflect on. And it was nice just to see how people operate at the higher echelon, at the higher level of business. And this is kind of the idea right now of the distraction. One of the coolest thing that I seen being on that trip with my business mentor slash client and hopefully potentially business partner in the future is that they're not distracted. They're very, very focused on what they need to do, and they only focus on the thing that they're really good at. Everything else is delegated, and everything else does not matter. No distractions. And it was nice to see because, when somebody no longer needs to work for money, but yet they still work 10 times harder than most people that you come across, it's a very interesting dynamic to see. And it's almost like they have more conviction. You would think that the people that need the money, people that need to climb their way up, are the ones that are going to be grinding it out. You'd think that those people are the ones that are going to be relentless, are the ones that are going to have so much conviction on making it that they're going to be working 12, 14, 16-hour days. But from what I've seen is the people at the top that are working harder. And I think it's just because they figured something out. And that one thing, it's a multiple thing, but that one thing I've come to realize is that they don't have a lot of distractions. Now, we don't need to really go into details into the business sense, but maybe we can just look at it from a surface level. So many people around in your 20s early 20s to maybe perhaps maybe mid 30s or late 30s, the older you get, the more distracted you become. And as we get older, as some of you may know, I'm 28 years old, and so I'm around people in this age. And a lot of people are afraid to get older. A lot of people hate the idea that they're getting older. And for me, I think it's because they haven't reached their potential. Perhaps it's because they haven't done the things that they needed to do. They're not where they want to be. And as they get older, they feel more behind and behind. And the problem with that is, as you get older, you become more distracted. And as you become more distracted, the more pushed back you feel. And with, for example, let's talk about life. Let's just talk about life in general here right now. You know, as when you reach your 20s, we all have these big goals of what we want to be. We want to become a good businessman. We want to become like a writer, an artist. We want to become whatever it is that you want to become. But then things start to fall apart when you're exposed to distractions. For example, when I was starting out in my business journey, I started with investing into stocks, right? I was really big into swing trading. I tried to get into some options trading, but I never really got into that. But one of the biggest distraction that I got myself into was that around the age of 18, 19, 20, that's when you're supposed to get your first car. And being somebody that was exposed to those things, I decided to get a freaking BMW at the age of, I think, 21 or 22. And so that was a form of distraction. Why? Because instead of putting the, let's say, $800 a month into my stock portfolio, I was now putting that money into my car payment, right? And because now I had this extra overhead of making this car payment, I now had to work extra harder at my 9 to 5 job so that I can keep up with these expenses. So that was another form. So that's a form of distraction. You're exposed to these things because as you get older, there's more priorities, there's more responsibilities, I should say, right? And then you get the pressure of, you know, getting a nice place, for example. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I can't speak on your behalf, but I can speak on my behalf. You know, as you get older, when you start to live on your own, you want to invite friends, you want to make sure that your place is presentable. So you're probably going to end up, or at least I ended up getting an apartment that was beyond what I could afford. Because I just felt like, okay, you know, society's telling me that around this age I should be moved out. I should have a nice place, right? I could have settled for something that was in the range of $1,500, but my first apartment, I was paying $2,100, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And that was another form of distraction because at that time I was trying to focus on my business, and I was distracted because now I was so focused on making sure that I made enough money in my day job so that I could cover the expenses of my apartment. Now, on top of that as well, I fell into the trap of getting into luxury cars. So at that time when I got the apartment building, I also got a new car. I got rid of my BMW that I spent, you know, a few $1,000s in the last 2 years trying to pay down. I got caught up with consumerism, with materialism, that I got a friggin' Mercedes Benz. I refinanced another car that was like $15,000 more expensive. You know, talking about it right now is pissing me off, but at the same time, it's okay because these are learning lessons. And now I can make a video about it. And so there's just so many distractions that stack up, right? And I know right now, people my age, they're they know that they need to focus on their career, or a lot of them they're not where they want to be in terms of their career or in terms of their mental state, physical state. But then at this age, there's also another responsibility, or they say that it's a responsibility, but a lot of people feel the need to buy a home, right? So there's another sacrifice. There's another sacrifice because now you have the expectation being put onto you that, okay, around 24, 25, 26 to 7, you should buy a home. You should invest into a home. And there's another distraction because a lot of the times people don't even want to buy a damn house. But people are forced to work 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that they can buy this house. Now, I know a lot of you guys might think that buying a home is an asset, but I'm the complete opposite. I think buying a home around this age is a liability because at this age, at least I'm looking at it from a perspective of an entrepreneur, and I'm looking at it from a perspective of getting a better ROI because people are expecting to buy a home and have that be their biggest investment in their life. The people buy homes and they make it their retirement fund. But at the end of the day, you know, the money that you can put into buying a home, if you were to invest that into yourself or if you were to invest that into your business, you can get a much bigger ROI. And also at this age, you want to have the freedom to relocate whenever you want. And when you buy a home, it ties you down into that specific place and also adds this extra financial pressure to make sure that you stay at your 9 to 5 job. So it limits you from taking risk. It limits you from taking the leap of faith of starting a business or going all in on your business because you can no longer leave your job. You can no longer, look for other opportunities because you now have this mortgage. So anyway, we don't need to get into that, but yeah, there's just like so many distractions. I mean, right now, for example, let me talk about myself right now. I'm 28 and my friends are telling me, David, when are you gonna get a girl? Yo, they're always asking me, yo, are you talking to a girl? My parents are asking me like, yo, what's happening? When are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? Right? That's another form of distraction. And it's so easy to be swayed away because don't get me wrong, those are things that I want. But at the same time, I'm lucky enough to have a strong willpower to say no and just stand on business and tell them, hey, listen, my focus right now is to make sure that my business is doing well, restructure my business, get me back on my feet. And there's so many people, throwing business ideas to me. I always get approached to start a new business idea. And as much as that's amazing, as much as I feel like that's such a great opportunity and I'm honored for you to want to start a business with me, this is just another form of distraction, right? When I went onto this trip with my business mentor, with my client, a lot of people were telling me, you should get into real estate. You should get into real estate. You should start allocating your money into real estate. And when so many people are telling you the same thing, it's so easy for you to fold under pressure. It's so easy for you to say, yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's explore that idea. And that's the trap. And that's the trap because you shouldn't. You shouldn't. This is the shiny object syndrome. People will always tell you the good things. People will always market it as if it's the next best thing. But when I was being approached during this trip, when people were telling me to get into real estate, I simply just stood back and said, hey, listen, I love the idea. I see what you guys are doing. I love it. I see the potential. But right now, I can't do that. Why? Because I'm focused on my business. Eventually, when I make it, when my business is all settled, when my business is doing well and I'm comfortable, then I can explore that idea. Then we can talk about investing into real estate. And so yeah, like growing up is just a trap because there's so many new responsibilities. There's so many responsibilities that people put on your head, and it becomes so easy to be distracted and derail you from your main goal. And they make you feel bad sometimes, right? And especially it's so easy when everybody is doing the thing that they're telling you to do. Like, get married, buy a home. When you're at this age, especially, like once you turn 26, 27, 28, 29, that's when all your friends are buying their homes. That's when your friends are all getting engaged. That's when people are starting a family. And sometimes it's so easy to just fold, but you need to have the ability to take a step back and just say, you know what? I understand that life is passing by, but I have this mission of becoming great. I have this mission of becoming a great businessman. I have this vision of starting this something beautiful, right? Building something bigger than myself. And unfortunately, that's just one of the where's my that's just one of those sacrifices that you have to make. Okay, Edgar, you want your dollar, man? I got you your dollar. I don't know how to send you a dollar right now, but if you're in Canada, I'll e-transfer you a dollar. I'll e-transfer you a dollar in exchange for you giving me the $1 billion that you promised me. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, as you get older, there's going to be more distractions. So I think the beautiful thing about it is that if you can just have the ability to step back and acknowledge all these distractions and just observe without actually taking part, I think that's when you can actually, I feel like that's like a moment of enlightenment. That's at least how I feel. I see so many people get distracted with new business ideas, chasing the new thing, chasing the next best thing. And I think they play it's funny because as people get older, the more behind they feel, and the more behind they feel, the more they feel the need to jump ships because there's a better opportunity. But unfortunately, when you do that, you're undoing all the progress that you've made, right? Because now you're seeing people, now you're at the age of like, oh shit, man, I'm 26, 27, 28. I should be making six figures. And so even though you're doing something consistently for the last 3 years, you're gonna you're gonna see a new opportunity and you're gonna jump ships and you're literally undoing all the progress. So that's how you fuck yourself over. You just gotta be you gotta be strong enough, have the strong willpower. You gotta stand on business. You gotta know why you even started this thing that you started. And that's why it's so important for you to not just jump into something just because the idea seems amazing. Because if you're not going into it with conviction, if you're not going into it long term, it's gonna be easy for you to jump ships. And you're just gonna get stuck in this cycle. Next thing you know, you're gonna wake up, you're 35 and you haven't made any progress. Why? It's because you're spreading yourself so thin. Start committing. Start committing to something. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be big. You can start something small. The most common thing that I see with these young entrepreneurs right now is that the idea gets them very excited. And the reason why I can even say this is because that used to be me, right? The idea of starting a new business seems amazing. Right now, there's AI, right? Everybody's selling you on the idea of, okay, you need to start an AI company. You need to integrate AI into your business, blah, 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 blah. There's just so much noise. Everybody's so distracted. And it sucks. It sucks because I just want the best for everybody. I want everybody to just make it, but it's going to be impossible for you to make it if you fall into the trap of being distracted. And the more distracted you become, the more you're going to be behind because you're just going to get stuck in this loop, right? But right now we have 6 viewers. And let me tell you something though. I know I'm talking so negatively about people being distracted, but guess what? This is a great opportunity. This is amazing. The fact that people are distracted should excite you. The fact that people are always looking into new opportunities, the fact that people cannot commit to one thing should excite you. Here's why. Because that means there's less competition. That means people are actually not willing to stand on business. That means people are distracted with the new shiny object. And so if you stick to one thing and become so good at that, you're going to have the monopoly. It's going to be easy to be the top 10 in the market because everybody's so distracted. If all your competitors are distracted, they're all trying to do 10 things at once. It makes it so easy for you to conquer. It makes it so easy for you to be the best at what you do. Because even if you're at number 3 or 4, the second guy might be distracted and might quit. Now you have less competition and you get more of the market share. So it's nice that people are getting distracted, but you just got to make sure that you don't get distracted. But yeah, I think it's a perspective that I was just entertaining in my mind, right? I always get people coming to me and just trying to pitch me a new business idea. And sometimes I think to myself, oh, this sounds so amazing. But if I had said yes to even 25% of those business pitches that I would get, I just would be doing nothing. I'd be stagnant. I'd literally be stuck in a loop, always trying something new, and not putting enough time to actually become great at one thing. You know, like the greatest entrepreneurs out there right now, for example, if we look at Elon Musk, before he had all these great big companies, he started with one, right? You start with one, become great at it, and then once you have the money, once you have the ability to expand, then you do it, right? It's impossible for you to start 10, 20 different things all at the same time and expect to be great at it, right? And so, yeah. Anyway, how long has this stream been going? I haven't streamed in a very long time, but it's nice to be back. We had about 9 current viewers about a minute ago, but yeah, what do you guys think about that? Like right now, what kind of distractions are getting in your way? Is it friends? Is it new business opportunity? Is it social media? Man, like social media is so toxic. It gives you I guess like that's what it's meant to, right? It's meant, if you're a consumer of social media, then yeah, you're falling into the trap. You're falling into the trap hard, right? Next thing you know, you want to buy some shit that you didn't even want a year ago. Now you're interested into traveling and spending thousands of dollars, but like you didn't really care about it. But now that you see that your friends are into it, now that you see that traveling is a cool thing, now you want to take part into it. You gotta make sure that you utilize social media to your advantage, not your disadvantage. Because you gotta understand that social media, listen, I'm sure many of you guys already know this, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, YouTube, they're all free to watch, right? They're all free. You can create an account and you don't have to pay a dime. Yes, of course, there are subscription based now, but to use the app in general, you don't have to pay. But you gotta understand that every single time an advertisement shows up in front of you, that's your payment. Because these companies are paying thousands, hundreds, millions of dollars to get in front of you, to get you to buy their shit. right? And so that's your payment. Yes, to use the app is free, but every single time you watch an advertisement or an advertisement shows up, that's your payment. And a lot of the times you actually buy these things, right? And so, yeah, you want to curate your social media so that it benefits you, not make your life more difficult with the distractions. I mean, I've been I've been a victim of that, right? You find yourself doom scrolling and you're just like, damn, man, like an hour literally just went by and I was just doom scrolling. And an hour of doom scrolling, imagine if you had just worked out instead. Imagine if you had read a book. Imagine if you went for a walk. Imagine if you actually just did the work that you know you needed to do for that hour. And so social media, don't get me wrong, is a very powerful tool as long as you know how to use it. A lot of people don't know how to use social media, and that's because they're a consumer, not a creator. And so, yeah, be careful who you follow, be careful with what you watch because the algorithm is going to keep pushing distractions. The algorithm is meant for you to stay on the app as long as possible, and that gets you distracted. That's how they make their money. The longer you stay on a damn app, the more you become distracted. But oh, this is pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I hope that little chat helped you guys, help you think a little bit. You know, perhaps that was a thought-provoking conversation. Now, I'm not really having a conversation, I'm just talking to you guys. So for those of you that are on live, let me know what you guys think. I want to know, what are some things that are distracting you right now? Is it girls? Is it cars? Is it, relationship? Is it materialism? Is it just trying to get by? I don't know. But I think the biggest thing here is try to minimize your distraction as much as possible. If you want to take back control, take a step back and realize what's the biggest distraction. What's distracting you right now? What's stopping you from reaching your goal? Because I think if you work backwards, a lot of the times people want to add things into their life. People are always like, okay, I got to be more productive. Okay, I got to read more books. Okay, I got to watch more educational YouTube videos. Okay, I got to go and network more. Yeah, those things are great, but I think before you do that, I think you should remove some stuff out of your basket. It's going to be hard for you to add an hour a day into reading if you're not going to remove 2 hours of watching YouTube videos. So I think you should work backwards a little bit. I think you should work on removing things first. I think you need to start cleansing things out of your life. If you're spending too much on social media, cut it down. If you're spending too much playing video games, cut it down, right? If you're spending too much time hanging out with your friends, cut it down. Now, I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I'm not trying to make you suffer, but you got to understand that this is what it's required. This only applies if you're trying to become something greater than yourself right now. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to read this book. You know what? Yes, this book has been gifted to me by a really good friend of mine, Jamie. What a very, very nice, thoughtful gift. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with him and I was having some difficulty with a lady. And he said, David, you need this book, The Way of the Superior Man. And it was pretty slick with it. We were at a restaurant and I was just opening up to him. And next thing you know, he suggested for me to read this book. And then he asked for my address, and it turns out that this guy just ordered the book for me, and a day later this book showed up on my doorstep. So big shout out to Jamie. What a real man. That's a real friend right there. And so this book has been a really good read. For some reason, I didn't get to finish it just yet, but as I was away, I was really thinking about this book, and I wish I had brought it to my trip And so the fact that I'm home now, I kind of want to read it. Perhaps I can read it out loud to you guys right now. Let me read you the back. So the name of this book is called The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. Let's read the back. When a man's value is no longer measured by what he does, by his finances or social standing, how does he determine his worth? In our new world, a man's presence, his depth of awareness, is his most valuable asset. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. So right now I'm on chapter 24. I don't really know if I should start at chapter 1. I don't really want to. So perhaps you guys are going to jump right into the middle of the book right now with me. So, I'll read this chapter and see what you guys think about it. And then perhaps we can read another one right after. So, all right. How's the light here? Pretty interesting. Edgar, are you still on here? I asked you how I can send you your dollar. If you're in Canada, I can send you an e-transfer or perhaps PayPal or maybe Bitcoin. I'll send you $1 worth of Actually, that's not even worth it. It's gonna cost me more for the gas fee. But anyway, okay, we're gonna read this. We're gonna read chapter 24. Chapter 24 says, choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. If a man is very masculine by nature, then he will be attracted to a very feminine woman who will complement his energy. The more neutral or balanced he is, the more balanced he will prefer his woman. And if a man is more feminine by nature, his energy will be complemented by a strong direction and purposiveness of a more masculine woman. By understanding their own needs, men can learn to accept the whole package of a woman. For instance, a more masculine man can expect that any woman who really turns him on and enlivens him will also be relatively wild, undisciplined, bonkers, chaotic, prone to changing her mind and lying. Still, from an energetic perspective, this kind of woman will be much more healing and inspiring to him than a more balanced or neutral woman who is steady, reasonable, trustworthy, and is able to say what she means in a way that he can understand. Ooh, okay. That's a pretty big intro. I kind of messed up. I don't even know if I said that right. Purposiveness. That's a new word. You have probably met a woman who seemed fantastic, only to discover that she has more emotional weirdness that you don't really want to deal with. She seemed incredibly sexy, but also a bit of a bonker, or crazy, saying one thing one moment, another the next. You have probably also met some very reasonable and trustworthy women who don't seem to constantly change their mind and, in fact, with whom you could have a good conversation that don't end up frustrating you. Although you may love these women and enjoy spending time with them, they don't arouse your passion as much as the women whose words you wouldn't trust to remain true for an afternoon, but who move their body in a way that drives you wild. Ooh, that was a hard read. Why can't a woman be more like a man? That's crazy. Because I've thought about that too before. Okay, this is interesting. Why can't a woman be more like a man? Many men have wondered, but of course, it is precisely those ways in which a woman is least like a man that most attract you sexually. If you have a masculine sexual essence, a woman's feminine shine, the energy that moves her body, her utterly refreshing spontaneity and mystery, not to mention her delightful smile, are what attract you. And the more feminine a woman is at her core, the less she is likely to evidence a strong masculine traits, such as speaking clearly and unequivocally. Oh, I don't know how to say that. God damn. And I'm on live right now. Such as speaking clearly and unequivocally about thoughts and desires, rather than primarily expressing her feelings of the moment. A woman with a more feminine sexual essence will say she loves you one moment, and then, when you have done something you are not even aware of, she will say she hates you. This is the beauty of the feminine. To her, the masculine grid of words and events is less relevant than the fluidity of the relationship and feeling. Thank God for such women who make apologies for their oceanic depth and riptides of emotion. You're always attracted to your All right. Forgot. Okay. You're always attracted to your sexual reciprocal. So, if you have a more feminine sexual essence, you will be attracted to a more masculine woman. You have probably seen men and women in couples like this. The man is more radiant and lively than the woman. The woman is more committed to her direction in life than the man. The relationship is more important to the man, whereas the woman likes to be left alone much of the time. These are signs of a relationship where the man has more feminine essence and the woman's essence is more masculine. Interesting. Other men with more neutral sexual essence prefer women who are also more neutral, neither particular masculine nor feminine. This kind of couple can talk about anything, and they like talking about everything. They share hobbies, friends, even career goals. Though equally loving, this kind of couple is usually less sexually passionate than highly polarized couples. It would be unusual to hear about this kind of neutral or balanced couple yelling at each other, throwing pillows, wrestling each other down the floor, and passionately making love right there and then. Through the lack of understanding, you might have depolarized yourself and your partner into a relationship that seems neutral, but actually isn't. Only about 10% of couples are actually neutral or balanced type in their true essence. Another 10% of couples are made up of feminine men and masculine women. But if you're like the 80% of couples, you have a masculine sexual essence and your woman has feminine one. That is, her feminine ways frustrate you, drives you crazy, inspires you, or turns you on, more often than she's simply your sexual neutral buddy. The false neutralization or depolarizations of relationships is one of the main reasons that couples break up. The rejuvenative charge of sexual loving becomes weak, while all the things that irritate you and your partner remain just as strong as ever. The secret is not to try to change your woman's irritating feminine ways, but to help cultivate the depth and rejuvenate power of her feminine blessing. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot from this chapter, ladies and gentlemen. If you're like most men, you have probably minimized your appreciation of a full spectrum of your woman's feminine energy by numbing yourself to the aspect that most irritate you. For instance, she doesn't drive you crazy anymore because you've learned not to take her too seriously. Perhaps you have learned to seem attentive while not really listening to her endless chat. Or maybe you have learned to give her a daily dose of affection as a way to quell her ongoing need for more intimate time than you really want to spend with her. This is the wrong approach. Ooh. What's up, fam? Doing good, my man. Doing good. We're just reading this book right now, The Way of a Superior Man. The feminine is an infinite source of love, inspiration, and power, both physically and spiritually. Feminine women are connected with the elements of nature in ways that more masculine people, such as yourself, usually aren't. Feminine women may seem wild, untrustable, or even irresponsible from a man's perspective, but such women are simply free of the masculine need to live in a world governed by reason and control. Feminine women are free to feel flows of natural livingness that you are unable to feel. They are free to be moved by currents of energy of which most men are unaware. They are free to allow their bodies to be transparent to the flow of their hearts, uncontrolled and undirected by goals and structure. The feminine body is free to be moved by love and live by itself and by life itself. And this is highly valued by most men. To behold a woman free in her expression of bodily ecstasy is one of the most awesome visions most men have had. Men will even pay to watch a woman's body express ecstasy, even if she is only faking it, like in a porn movie. Ooh, interesting. Okay. In our secular culture, most men are only familiar with sexual ecstasy, and so that is form of free bodily expression that men pay to see in movies, on stage, and in private rooms around the world. However, In cultures that admit a greater degree of spiritual revelation, women's bodies are viewed with the same masculine awe, but for a different kind of expression, not merely for their capacity to express sexual ecstasy in a way that is foreign and unbelievably attractive, but also for their capacity to express spiritual ecstasy. Temple dancers in India, for instance, are traditionally feminine women trained from an early age to combine skill and heartfelt devotion in a style of dance which frees their bodies to be moved by divine force, bringing tears to many men's eyes and openness to their hearts. A woman who is at home with her feminine essence is at home with energy, be it sexual or spiritual. For such a woman, there is no disconnection between sex and spirit. Her sexual surrender, if she is with you, if she is with a worthy man, is the same as her devotional or spiritual surrender. She opens from head to toe, receiving divine love force deep throughout her body, so that she is rippled, arched, and undulated by its boundless flow. Man, there's a lot of crazy words here. More masculine or neutral women are less likely to allow such freedom of bodily expression. Yet it is a woman's expression of this kind of ecstasy that invites a masculine man to leave her heady world of thoughts and goals and celebrate the moment in the flesh through the heart. Whether in a strip joint or a sacred temple, men have been attracted for thousands of years to witness feminine embodiment of ecstasy. Women are literally worshipped in such occasions. Men shout their praise and Women are literally worshipped in such occasions. Men shout their praises to goddess dancing before them in ways they would never do in public. The fullest of such occasions is completely sexual and completely spiritual at the same time. Men leave such an event transformed and inspired by the blessing power of a free feminine embodiment. This is one of the unique gifts of the feminine form of woman. This is what you get in a woman with a feminine sexual essence, a woman who is all over the place emotionally, a woman whom can depend on to change her mind, a woman who is much more sensitive than you are to the flow of subtle energies in your relationship, a woman who brings you delight and awe in the ecstasy, both sexual and spiritual, that her body expresses so freely and beautifully. It is all one package. You can't have a woman who's always logically consistent, reasonable, and on time, who also fills your heart and flesh with energy, instant and throughout the day, with her bodily expressed love and ecstasy. She can animate reasonable masculine energy when she wants, but if she wants a feminine core, much of the time she will want to dance in wrathful anger and in enchanting joy, beyond the need for reason. So, choose a woman who is your complementary opposite, which for most men means a more feminine woman. It is only a feminine woman who can give the gifts that you, as a masculine man, need. Along with these gifts, however, come the relative chaos and emotional weather storms that most men dread. Realize that these aspects of the same energy that turns you on. In fact, you can learn to be turned on by her dance of anger as much as by her slinky purr. This capacity is one of the gifts to her. You can learn to stand free and strong no matter what emotion she displays. You won't leave, turn away, or disassociate in disgust. You can meet her enormous energy and stand full, loving her through the storm, embracing her complete feminine power, dark and light. You will only be happy in intimacy if you choose a woman who is your sexual reciprocal as a partner, and you will only be able to survive such an intimacy of her if her dark and light sides are equally embraceable to you. It takes time to develop such skill and strength, but in doing so, you learn to provide your woman, as well as the world, with a man whose gifts are uncompromised by fear of feminine power and chaos. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like that went a little over my head. I get it. I understand the concept, but I don't know something about myself. When I read a word that I'm not familiar with, it kind of fucks me up, and I think about that word as I'm reading And so I feel like I was reading, but I wasn't actively reading. I understand it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I think this book, there's a lot of mixed reviews about this book. A lot of people love it. A lot of people are kind of mixed feelings about it, but I definitely extracted some good lessons from this book, 100%. But okay, chapter 25. I'm not going to read chapter 25, but chapter 25 says, "Know what is important in your woman. The feminine is the force of life. The more masculine a man is, the more his woman feminine the more his woman's feminine energy will be important to him." Yeah. It's really interesting that there are men out there that are feminine, that carry more of a feminine energy. Sorry to correct myself. I've always I've always thought that was interesting. I don't know how that dynamic works, but I guess a lot of the times, well, not a lot of the times, but sometimes you might meet a woman who was raised to be more of a who who was raised to take on more of a masculine role in their life, right? Sometimes a lot of these women, they grow up and they have to make the difficult decision. They're the one that are the decision makers, but I don't really want to get into that. Let's focus on business. I can only really talk about business. I don't know shit about women, clearly. That's why we're reading this book. We want to we want to enhance, we want to expand our knowledge when it comes to women, because as men, I don't know if the 6 people that are watching this live right now, I don't know if you guys are all dudes, but in my opinion, all the entrepreneurs that I've met, whether you're just starting out or whether you're like super duper successful, their biggest kryptonite is their woman. Is like, a woman will either make you or break you. And man, trust me, I've been there as well. I've been blessed to have had a woman in my life where she was very, 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 very supportive, and I didn't even deserve her, you know. But when you have a good woman by your side, you can feel like you feel like you can conquer anything. You feel like you can conquer the world when you have a good woman by your side. You could go, sometimes the way I look at business and entrepreneurship is that every single day you're going out to war. You're looking for clients, you're solving problems, you're putting out fire. And when you get to go home and you have a beautiful, loving woman, it recharges you. It rejuvenates your energy and it heals you. Like, a good woman will heal you. And you feel like you can just do it all over again. You feel like you can conquer the world. That's the beautiful part about having a good woman by your side. And unfortunately, you know, if you're not good with your woman and you come home after trying to conquer the world in the business world, after trying to put out so many fires, after just solving everybody's problems, and you go home to a woman that is unhappy, ugh, it'll make you just want yourself, you know? And so it's really important to invest into your woman. So if you're blessed, if God has blessed you, if life has blessed you with a woman, make sure you invest some time into making sure that she's fulfilled. Because like I said, a woman will make or break you. So if you are going to go home and you're going to go home to a woman that is unhappy, who has a lot of bone to pick with you, man, it's gonna fuck you over. Business is not gonna be booming, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to go on here for a quick live stream. Like I said, it's been a month since I went on live, and it doesn't even feel like it's been a month. I swear, I felt like it was just a week. Sorry, I felt like it was only a week and a half, but I guess time moves quick. Time moves quick. And so I just wanted to get on here and talk to the camera again. Talk to the camera again and get into the flow of streaming, because streaming is something that I really want to do this year. And I hope you guys are doing well. I mean, let's have a look at my YouTube channel here. You guys are my best friend here, so you guys are free to look at my YouTube. Oh, video capture. Can you not see my screen? I swear. I swear. Oh. 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 Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, David, okay. I swear by the moon and the night. Patrick Bet David. Okay, okay. Guys, I'm also trying to get better at chess, but I suck at chess. I love the game of chess, but I'm not the best at it. Oh, look at that. We're live. I have a bone to pick with some of you guys right now, actually. But anyway, let's have a look when I went live last. A month ago. I went live a month ago. This is not good. And so that's why I had to go on stream. I was on the road. There was one time I streamed for 8 hours. Look at this. I streamed for 8 hours. My hair was a bit shorter there. But let me show you guys. I have a bone to pick with you guys. I don't know if you guys ever look at your channel, but let's have a look. Am I exposing too much? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right. So I'm trying to get... Okay. I'm going to try to push for 200 subscribers by the end of the month. Now, we're already halfway through the month, and I was inactive for about 11 days on YouTube, so I need to get back on my stuff. But look at this. Audience. Guys, come on now. 89% of you guys are not subscribed. 89%. I know conversion-wise, it's... Anyway, this is watch time from subscribers in the last 28 days. So if you're watching this stream and you're enjoying it, feel free to subscribe. I mean, you don't have to, but you know, it'll stroke my ego. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, this stat was just very interesting. Like basically 90% of you guys are not subscribing. But I guess this is what I'm saying. YouTube is more intentional. When people watch YouTube videos, because they're intentional with it. It's not like social media. I mean, it's not like Instagram or TikTok where people can accidentally watch a 20-minute video. It's not like that. And look at this. Come on now, man. I don't get no biddies. It's all the homies. It's all the homeboys. 91.4% of my audience are dudes. What up, guys? So I can literally just 91.4% of the time, if I say what's up dudes, what's up guys, I will be correct 91.4% of the time. But we're a gentleman here, so I'm going to say ladies and gentlemen. So let's see here. Okay. We got some youths up in here, 25 to 34 years old. This is really good. Let me tell you something. If you have an audience of people who are in the age of 24 to 34 years old, that is very good. Like this age group is very, very good. Here's why. It's because these are buyers. These are the people with disposable income. So if you're trying to sell a digital product or if you're trying to sell merch, these people are the ones that have jobs, have disposable income. So these people are going to be buyers. And look at this too. United States, first world country. Canada, first world country. UK, another first world country. India, not so much. Philippines, not so much. But this is a good demographic. This is a very good oh, you can't even really see it, can you? But yeah, this is a very good demographic in terms of if you're trying to sell something to your audience. So yeah. But yeah, we're trying to increase our subscribers, guys. We're trying to increase our subscribers. But anyway, It is now 11 o'clock and I got some more work that I got to do, but hopefully I can go live tomorrow. Perhaps I'll go to a coffee shop tomorrow and just go live. Show you guys there's a lot of work that I need to do tomorrow. And so perhaps I'll go live to at a coffee shop and we can do it at a different location. But anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I will end this stream right now. I just want to say thank you all for those who have tuned in. I missed you guys. I'm going to be back in action. I'm going to be streaming a lot more often. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos. Let's push for 200 subscribers by the end of the month. Now, I'm talking to you guys as if you will make it happen, but I guess you can help me make it happen, but ultimately I have to do the work to make it happen. So, yep. This video actually did pretty well. 352 views 3 days ago. It's like a vlog. I went to look for a Filipino restaurant when I went to Calgary. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I will see you. Wait, I gotta say my outro. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And most importantly, thank you for trying. Peace.